So you think having an emergency survival kit has to be really expensive? Well, I'm going to show you some of the best items you can get right here at the dollar store. Let's go check it out. Today, I want to speak to you about 11 things that you can get at the dollar store that you can use in an emergency prep situation. We start talking about survival items, and I speak to a lot of people about, do you have what you need in case there's a power outage or some kind of an emergency? And most people say, I can't afford it. It's too expensive. So I'm going to disprove that to you and show you that quite a few of the items you would get in any kind of a survival kit or survival setup, you can get from the dollar store, at least some of the most important ones. So let's go ahead and see them. Number one would be matches. Okay, I went to the dollar store and they had tons of these little matches, and I use them for fire starters. You use matches to light your candles, to light your stoves, to all kinds of different things. Okay, so they have two different sizes. Now, when I say I went to the dollar store today, they call it the $1.25 store. Okay, so everything costs about $1.25. Hey, inflation. So matches is something that's very important. You need it for just about anything. Now, the next thing would be candles. And of course, you use the matches to light the candles. And dollar store, you can see there's quite a few different kinds of candles. And I like these long ones because I can use them to make different things like candles with Crisco. You ever seen them stick these inside Crisco? If you haven't, you'll see some in one of the videos that I have here on this channel. So you can make emergency stoves out of that. And probably my favorite of all of them is the tea lights. Okay, so I've got all kinds of those, bought a whole mess of them. The dollar store has tons of these tea light ones. And these here happen to be tea lights that are in a metal casing. Okay, this way when they melt, it stays in there and you don't get them everywhere. So I like them in the metal casing. And if you're going to use a lot of them, like sometimes I'll use these to make emergency stoves or emergency heaters. Okay, those metal things will actually put off a little bit of reflective heat as well. Not much, but hey, every bit counts if you're in the winter and the power went out. So tea lights, they're great for light, and you can also use them for heat. Now, how about food? If power goes out and it's a matter of survival, you need to eat. Okay? And it's nice to go out and to have the military MREs and a different kind of dehydrated meals, but those can get expensive. So what kind of things can you get from the dollar store? Well, when I went through, I found all kinds of canned goods. I found ramen noodles. Matter of fact, I bought 4 of these cases, or I guess you can call them cases, of ramen noodles. Each one of them has, let me see how many, 5 packs. So 5 packs of ramen noodles for $1.25. Okay, and they had them in beef and chicken and shrimp. And there was another one. I don't remember what it was, but you'll see it here in the video. So ramen noodles is a great choice. And a couple other things I found over there is one of my favorites, smoked oysters. Smoked oysters. Okay, it sounds like I've been smoking oysters, huh? Smoked oysters. Okay, no, I haven't been smoking them. So smoked oysters, they're kind of like almost like a sardine thing, but with oysters. They're really good, and these last virtually forever. And something else, again, with the survival kit, you don't need something that lasts forever, because what I have a survival setup in my other room where I have a lot of different foods and canned goods and MREs and all those things, but I like to use the stuff on occasion and rotate it. Okay, but I found this here, which is buffalo style chicken salad with crackers. Isn't that cool? Buffalo style chicken salad. And they had a bunch of different kinds, not just buffalo, but they had regular chicken salad and this salad and that salad. And so a bunch of things with crackers, basically a meal in a box for $1.25. Right? So that's great to have. Next, something else you need is, where did I put them? Batteries. Okay, I bought these 9-volt batteries, but they have AAA AA, D-cell, all size batteries over there for $1.25. Now they had some name brand, Panasonic, and some others that were a little more expensive, but these will work fine. I like the 9-volt batteries because I like to take them and get a little pad of steel wool, the really fine here steel wool. And if you touch both terminals on it, it'll actually spark and ignite. So you can use that to start a fire if you're outdoors. So they're great fire starters. So keep in mind, you're going to need batteries for pretty much everything, for flashlights or for lanterns. If you have a battery operated lantern, for radios, there's so many things. And it's great to have additional ones in case something runs out. The next thing on the list would be flashlights. Okay, now there's plenty of flashlights. You'll see some of the pictures here of the ones I saw at the dollar store. So $1.25 for a flashlight. They had the kinds that you could stick right on the wall that looked like dome lights. They had flashlights. They had lanterns. I didn't get any of them this time because I already have about 10 different flashlights on the other side that I tend to pick them up whenever I see a good deal at Ocean State job lots or Martin's or Walmart. Okay, so I'm flashlight poor right now. But flashlights are great to have because as soon as the lights go out, it's the middle of the night, transformer blows down the street somewhere, and you don't have any lights. So with the flashlight, you can find your candles, you can find your matches. I can go outdoors and get my little solar lights and bring those in. So it's great. I only need them for a few minutes just to get things lit up and to get my solar lights in. So the flashlight will last quite a long time. Now, being from up here in Maine, if there's one thing that I use probably more than anything else, it's like a staple in our diet. It is, are you ready? Drum roll, please. Duct tape. Okay. Duct tape is used for anything. You can use it to tape up things, to connect things, to hold things together. I've used duct tape for so much. I've probably got 5 rolls upstairs here. I've got one in the garage. I've got one in the car. I have some in the filing cabinet. I don't know why I'd have them in the filing cabinet, but I do. Okay, so duct tape can be used for a lot of things. Matter of fact, I saw a video the other day of someone who used duct tape and they taped it over a bag that they put their foot in and they made boots out of it so they could walk through the water, almost like waders, so they could walk through the water without getting their shoes wet. So duct tape, great item to have. Now, how about for first aid purposes? One of the things I found going through there is Band-Aids. Well, actually not the Band-Aid brand. This is Curad, which is also a very good Band-Aid, but bandage. This is sheer assorted bandages for $1.25, and it has multiple sizes. What's the importance of bandages? Let's say the power goes out and you have no water, so you can't take a bath, you're not able to wash. Okay, even having a little cut on your hand, if it's not covered, could get infected. And if it gets infected, you're going to have a lot more trouble than just having the power out. Okay, so keep them clean. It's great to be able to keep the infection and dirt and all the stuff flying around off of your cut. It's probably not going to heal it, but it's going to help it to stay clean so it can heal. Other things you might get for first aid is they have alcohol and peroxide, so you can disinfect something and clean it before you put the Band-Aid on. I probably should have showed you that first. And there's also tons. You can see in the video, there's tons of different medicines they have there. They have ibuprofen. They have things for headaches. They have things for sleep aids. They have things for infections, all kinds of different kinds of pills, all for $1.25. Yeah, they're no-name ones, but no names are sometimes just as good, if not better, than the name brands. So it's a great place to go to get your first aid kit started. You can get quite a few things in there that are very important for your health. Something else, again, if you're not having the water or able to take a bath or wash up that much, is wet wipes. Okay, these are, well, they had probably about 4 or 5 different kinds of wet wipes to be able to have better hygiene, to clean up, to wash yourself if you did cut yourself, to wash your hands after working with something sticky. So these wet wipes are really great to have. Now, another thing I was surprised, I didn't think of the dollar store for water. I probably would have got some when I was over there, but the day before I went out and bought about 6 jugs of this one, okay? I think, for survival, okay, you should have, at least for short-term survival, at least 3 gallons of water per person stored. We have 6 gallons on the other side. And what I do is I use them regularly. Our tap water is not really that great to drink. So we'll use the bottled water, take the last one or the oldest one and use that one and keep on rotating them. When I use 1 or 2, I buy 1 or 2 and put them in the back to keep them going, to keep them rotating. Remember, put the new ones in the back so you're constantly using them in rotation. Now, why that much water? How are you going to cook things? How are you going to make soups? How are you going to cook your ramen noodles? Okay, you need water for those things. How are you going to make coffee? The biggest thing for me for survival is coffee. If there's no coffee, hey, survival's over. It's the apocalypse, right? You need to have coffee, so you need your water. So there's a lot of things you can use it for, and even for washing. And if you don't have water at all in your system, you might even have to use it to flush your toilet if you want to use your toilet instead of a bucket or a porta potty. And the last thing on my list is Ziploc bags. Okay, they had tons of Ziploc bags that you can use. Now, they weren't the name Ziploc, but they had a lot of other ones. But these little bags can be used for all kinds of things, for storing things, for having little things like batteries, your extra batteries, throwing them in there, needles, your threads, stuff that you don't want to lose. Your first aid kit, you can put a lot of your items in here to keep them dry, to keep them safe. Same thing with pills and this kind of thing. Baggies will help to keep things fresh so they don't get wet and mold and mildew. So I hope that helps you to see that you don't have to be rich to be able to have your own survival kit. Right here, we went through 11 things. So with the $1.25 for less than, let's say, $13, you can have all these different items. Have something to cook, have the water to cook it with, have the matches to light up whatever you're cooking the water to cook the food. So pretty much the majority of what you'd need, you can get at the dollar store. So go ahead and get it and get started with your survival kit, because here at Why Am I Green, we're not only about making, growing, and eating the green, but we're about helping you to be safe, to get back to basics, and to be able to continue growing and moving forward, even if you're having power outages or things that would normally slow down others. You don't have to be slowed down. So with that, leave in the comments any other things that you found in the dollar store that can be used for survival, or maybe even other place that you'd like me to share. I appreciate you watching, subscribing, and spending time with me. I love to be able to bring these kind of things to you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.